Hi, Madison.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm so well. I'm so happy that we get to chat today.
Me too. Thank you for being here. We met under actually Pregnantish. We met at a Pregnantish event, and you were
Oh,
so generous and kind with your time and your story. And I was like, ooh, I need to talk more with her. So thank you.
oh, I'm so glad it touched you in any kind of way. I think that's the power of communication, right? We get to start talking and then you learn things, you're motivated by things, you're inspired by things, you learn things, and that's the best part of two powerful women coming together.
I couldn't agree more. It's literally why I do what I do. So you said it perfectly.
Oh, so glad.
Did you ever imagine being, because I was thinking about you at the Pregnantish event. You weren't there for for obvious reasons, I would say. It's not something that you did egg freezing, you are entrenched in the world of reproductive rights, but you're very open and honest. You don't like strike people as the person that's going to be the spokesperson for this particular topic. So let's maybe start there. When, how, why did you freeze your eggs, and what was your experience like, and what do you want people to know about it?
So I actually haven't yet. So
Oh, I thought you did.
not yet. I'm on the journey of looking into that and starting that journey.
Okay.
But basically, what happened was my manager came to me and was like, "Hey, there's this event called Pregnant-ish. They are discussing basically reproductive stories, rights, etc. Is that something that you would host?" And I was like, "I mean, no, why would I host that? Like, I'm still what I would say, which I think is very naive looking back. I'm still on the young side. I haven't even started thinking about that yet. Why is that a fit for me?" And then I started thinking about it and I was like, Madison, let's think this through for a second. There is no age where you can start thinking about your reproductive rights, um, your reproductive steps and journey because that can start at any age so that you can at least have the knowledge so that you can be successful in the long term when you're ready to start a family. And I've already started making decisions that could affect that. I'm so sorry. I've already made decisions that started to affect that. For example, birth control. That's a decision that a lot of women make when they're pretty young, some as soon as they get their period. And those are decisions that could play into those are decisions that could play into when you start making the decision to have a family. So it's like, I've already started this journey without even thinking that I've started on this journey. Of course, I want to host this and I want to learn from all of the amazing women that this amazing nonprofit organization put together for this panel. So I think it was a very eye-opening experience for me to host the panel, and I learned so much, and I'm so glad that I was there to meet like amazing women like yourself.
Now that you're saying this, I'm sorry, of course. I remember now you started hosting this panel and you were like, whoa, I think I need to start taking care of this sooner than I thought. Now that you're saying all this, that's what resonates with me. I remember that.
Yeah, there is an amazing doctor who was on my panel, and I've connected
Yes.
with her, and I'm actually going to go see her soon so that I can
Amazing.
see where I stand so that I can be prepared to start a family when I'm ready.
She's an amazing doctor. She's so wonderful. I'm glad you're going to go see her. I mean, that's the thing is that knowledge is power. Like when you went on birth control, what was that? How old were you, if you feel comfortable sharing? And what was that decision like? Did you feel like it was your decision to make and it was empowering? Had you talked about it with your family?
I think I started at around age 17, 18 on birth control. I was taking the pill, and unfortunately, the pill did not work for me. I
Mm,
very consistent. I took it every single day at the exact same time, and I still somehow got pregnant. So,
wow.
pill did not work. Now I have an IUD, and I absolutely love the IUD because the IUD doesn't give me any symptoms. It doesn't give me any effects. I hardly notice that it's there. I hardly get a period. Just like all the good positive things that you can have with birth control. And for the most part, as much as science can tell right now, it's not really affecting your reproductive cycle in any negative way. So I think that's a really good option for me. again, every woman and every body is so different. So that could be a total different story for another person, but it's working really well for me.
Were you educated on an IUD when you put one in? How much, or how did you research it?
Yeah, I had a really big talk with my gyno shortly after I got pregnant to go over all of the options and what would be best for my body. And so the IUD that we chose works extremely well for my goals, at
You're
least.
perfect. Can we talk about when you got pregnant?
Yeah.
What was it like? You were shocked, obviously.
I always thought if that was going to happen to me, it would be like a, oh my God, my life is over kind of moment. And that was actually not the reality. I found out that I was pregnant at, I think I was, sorry, this is my dog, Gracie.
She's
Um,
very, very emphatic about women's health. I'm totally good with
yeah,
it. Hi,
she's very
Gracie.
excited. Um, So I was about 20 years old and I found out I was pregnant, and my first reaction was actually, oh my God, my body can do this. I just have heard so many stories from women that they can't get pregnant. And here I am not trying to get pregnant and on birth control and still somehow made it happen.
Mm,
So I was just like, whoa, I am a woman. My body can do this. And it was like a very empowering feeling with slight fear attached to it. Obviously, I knew that I had to make a certain decision because I was not ready to be a mother, especially with the man who got me pregnant.
mm,
Um, so I had to make that decision. What I wish, looking back, is that people were more honest and upfront about abortions, because so many women get it. And I don't understand why there's a stigma around abortions, because you can get pregnant the very first time you have sex. Getting an abortion is not a form of birth control. It's a very traumatizing, painful experience. Getting an abortion is not an easy decision to make, even if you know it's the only decision to make. Um, Getting an abortion is emotionally taxing, and I wish there was more of an open dialogue about it so that women know what to do to prepare as they get one. I wish I would have gone into therapy before I got it. I still would have made the same decision, but that way I could at least know the obstacles I was going to tackle mentally going through it, and I
mm,
could prepare myself better.
mm. So the physical piece of it, how early were you able to get access to it? And was it hard to get access in terms of where you were living? Did you know where to turn?
I was living in LA,
Okay.
so it was pretty easy out here in California. This is also, um, I guess almost 10 years ago. That's crazy. Time flies by.
Mhm.
So the laws were definitely looser than they are now. Um, but I went to Planned Parenthood, and I think that based off of pop culture and all the TV shows and films, I was really scared to go to Planned Parenthood because I was like, what if they like bomb the clinic or something while I'm in it?
Mm,
And I got there wasn't a single protester. Like, it was totally fine. Um, I went in, they were very, very kind. They ask you quite a few times throughout your journey there, like, are you sure you want to do this? Once you do it, there's no going back. And like, they have therapists come in and talk to you, not about your mental headspace, which I think should change, but they have therapists coming in to make sure that you're making a decision that you actually want to make. Um, and I was pretty early on. I want to say I was like 5 weeks pregnant or something like that. And it was insanely painful to go through. So
yeah.
the first thing that happens is you take a pill with the doctor watching you at the actual Planned Parenthood to stop the growth of the fetus. And then you go home and you take the second pill, which is the actual abortion. And when you take that pill, your body feels like you're going through labor. I thought I was dying. I was like shaking, I was freezing, but I was sweating, I was puking, I was like laying on the bathroom floor in so much pain. My body was like literally thought it was going through labor. It was cramping up. It was so painful and bad. And I wish a lot of the men who are making the decisions in our government to take control of our bodies understood the amount of pain and trauma women go through to get an abortion. This is not something that we just do because we're like, oh, I didn't mean to get pregnant. This is really an emotional taxing thing for your body.
Oh, I'm so sorry. As you're describing it, I've also had to do it and with those pills, and it's you bring me right back because that is what it's like. And some people have no side effects, just to be clear. And you're lucky because you're given options when you have to have your abortion. I assume you were given the option of a pill or like a DNC. I don't know if you were, maybe you weren't that far along. And some people don't even know what the difference is. What will it feel like? What, right? And they don't know. You are lucky you were in LA, but like sometimes they won't even walk you through what that's going to be like, you know?
I was not expecting the way my body was going to react. No one brought me through that. They were just like, this is the pill to stop the growth, and this is the pill for the actual abortion. And they gave me very like to the paper, this is your rule book kind of thing, rather than this is what to expect your body to react like, or this is how your body could react. I also wasn't expecting the aftermath that no one talks about either, which is you're bleeding out this fetus for a long time and you can see like little gooey parts and stuff like that. And that's just like emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Um, And also, like your hormones shift very quickly because one minute you were pregnant and the next your pregnancy is starting. Like, if you think about labor and postpartum depression, anxiety, all these disorders, they're still there even at 5 weeks because your hormones are shifting so significantly so fast. Were you alone when you did it?
No, my mom flew out and she
Oh,
was
good.
lovely.
Yay,
The
mom.
second my mom left, it was a whole thing because the guy was so upset that I made the decision that I made. He came over and was like screaming at me, saying that I took away his future. And I was like, I am on so many hormones right now. Like, this is literally, I mean, never do this, but especially now.
Yeah. I was going to ask, did you talk with him when you made the decision or did you make it by yourself?
Obviously, I had the conversation, but I
Yeah.
made the decision that was best for me.
Yeah.
So
Props
he
to that. 100% props to that.
yeah, he was not somebody I was dating. He was somebody that I thought made clear like this is like something that's fun and that's all
Yeah.
that will be. And he just wanted to try to take advantage of me by having full control. So the reason I got pregnant, even though I was on the pill, is he poked a hole in the condom without me knowing.
That's
And
insane.
yeah, so as soon as I found out I was pregnant, he was not surprised. And he was like telling me, well, obviously we have to keep it, we'll become a family. And I was like, no, like I'm so young. Like this is, I have, I don't know. It was just a whole conversation, but he was very, very upset when I made the decision that was best for me.
I'm I can't that poking a hole in a like at what point did he tell you this? After you told him you got pregnant and he was like, not a surprise.
Correct. Yeah.
I you mentioned this when we first spoke and my jaw is like still on the floor from that. I can't believe that people still do this.
It's hard because I think that a lot of times we want to believe that there's good in everybody, but at the end of the day, there's just not.
I'm sorry that that happened. What a douchebag. Sorry. That's like the only thing that can come to my mind. You
Yeah, but
might
at
feel
the end of the
differently.
day, I think the way that I feel because I have had 10 years of like therapy and like moving on and growth and stuff like that. I think at the end of the day, the way that I think about it is that for whatever reason, I needed to learn these lessons.
Mm,
And I think that it's just part of my journey now. And
mhm,
thankfully, I have this story that I survived. And now I can hopefully help others because I don't want anyone to ever be in the position I was in where I didn't have anybody to talk to because there is this horrible stigma around getting an abortion.
mm. I just like I picture this person and I just can't even imagine going to the lengths of poking a hole in a condom. Okay, well, you've clearly done your work on it and your mom is awesome. It's I'm literally like thinking about when myself in my bathroom, the same thing. It's a very visceral response when you hear somebody else talk about it, but thank you for being so open about it. Now, ultimately, you do want to be a mom, right? Because this is why we're maybe doing some egg freezing. Have you always wanted to be a mom?
Always. I want
Mm,
to have like 3 or 4 kids. So that's why it's important because I'm not at I think I'm at the perfect age to start freezing your eggs. I'm 29. So I
Mhm.
think that's actually the perfect time to start the journey. Um, but especially if I want to have like 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah. I mean, I joke all the time that for my daughter's, I don't know, 21st, 25th, 28th birthday, we'll definitely be doing an egg freezing party for
Yeah.
her. I mean, we have a lot of, she's sick, so like we have plenty of time, but I think it's the more we can do it and prepare for it, the better. Did doing that panel fast forward things for you?
1000%. It made me start thinking about it. And it actually brought up a conversation with my mom. And my mom was like, I want you to do it like yesterday. Like,
Mm.
I will pay for it. I will nurture those eggs like they're my own. She's like, I will put them in my own freezer and say hello to them every morning. And I'm like, you're psycho.
Yes. Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But she's like very, very excited that I'm putting my future in my own hands. That's what you're doing with egg freezing. You're
Yeah.
literally taking control of your future and you're saying to the universe and society that I am going to be a successful woman in my career and I'm also going to be able to have a family just when I'm ready.
I love that. Let's talk career, speaking of. How did you end up on your career path?
So ever since I was a little girl, I always loved to watch Entertainment Tonight with my mom. We would literally put on our PJs and we would put on our heels. I don't know how my mom found baby heels, but she did. We would just like watch Entertainment Tonight together. And then whenever it was award season, it was like my Super Bowl. I would stand in front of the TV screen and I would pretend like I was the one who was interviewing the celebrity. And so when people would be like, Madison, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would be like, whatever gives me time to volunteer on Entertainment Tonight on the red carpet. There's no way that could be a real job, right? Like it's just too
Right.
good to be true. So once I found out I actually could do that for a living and I could get paid for that, I went to the University of Arizona, majored in broadcast journalism and film and TV, interned at 12 different places in 3 years, came out to LA and immediately started working under Harvey Levin at TMZ. Worked there for 4.5 years, then went to my very full circle moment, which was working for Entertainment Tonight.
Eh,
Worked there for another 4 or 5 years. Um, and then just really started my whole career path where there's just all these different things popping up. So I recently this year made the decision to go completely freelance and no longer working under a corporation or an outlet. And I'm literally the CEO of my own life.
the best. Isn't it the best?
It's so scary, but it is the best.
It's scary, but I think there's just powerful women that are just better as their own bosses. I'm one of those as well. Like I could work for someone else. I have worked for someone else, but I'm so much happier when I'm working just for me. And it is scary. Being an entrepreneur is super scary.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you don't get the comfort of like, I know I'm getting a paycheck this week, right?
totally. Salary, benefits, all the things.
Exactly. You have to pay for your own insurance. That's
Yep.
expensive here in the
Yep.
United States. Um, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of women like yourself and a lot of the other women that we've met along our path that are so smart that we know we could do it better than these big corporations. And we have these smart ideas, but because we're women, a lot of times we don't get taken seriously. We don't get listened to. So when we can break out and do it on our own, that's where the beauty and the magic lies.
I completely agree. What are some of your like what more stops do you want to make on your career path?
Well, I am recently breaking into the world of sports. I grew up as a sports
Yes.
girly, so I'm very excited that that's becoming a reality. I have a podcast in development right now. It's called
Awesome.
Up with Madison Brodsky, and we're basically going to be the intersection between sports and entertainment. Um, well, I'll get to that in a second, but let me tell you about the podcast.
Okay.
So it's going to be the intersection between sports and entertainment. We're getting some of the biggest athletes that you can imagine, sitting them down in their own homes, on their own couches. And we're going to be starting off every episode with a dirty, flirty round of Never Have I Ever. And that leads
Yes.
to them sharing a never been told story that will make a headline. So that way, every single episode is a jaw dropper exclusive. And these athletes are huge. I mean, episode 1 is Shaquille O'Neal, episode 2 is A-Rod, the list goes on and on.
Whoa.
Um, But I think the beauty of all this is that right now we're in this very amazing section where while life can be very hard for women right now in terms of our government and the decisions that they're making, life is kind of magical for women in the aspect of sports, right? Because right now people are starting to realize the benefits that women can bring to the world of sports. And so there's so many doors that have never been open, and it's time for us to come in and break those down, create our own lanes. And as of right now, there isn't really anyone that is the intersection of sports and entertainment. So I'm taking my knowledge and my love and my passion for sports and applying it to the tools that I already know for entertainment news and kind of mashing it together, and we'll see where we end up.
I just love that. There's so many needed, there's so much need for women's voice in sports.
Yeah.
You know, all the stigma that comes with it. And I think just by being a woman in sports, loud and proud, you're breaking a barrier. I think that's so awesome. Um, I like, of course, my nerdy entrepreneur head is like, how did you even get this started? And who's helping you book the interviews? And would you fly to their house or do you only do the ones in LA? Like, I have 8 million questions.
I mean, I can answer that. I'm booking
Great.
all of my own interviews.
Amazing.
We are flying to all of their homes. Thankfully, most of the athletes do live in similar states, so we can fly to like Miami and we can bust out like five at a time,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Um, so yeah, it's all in development right now. It's kind of day by day that we're going, but it's really fascinating.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so podcast in development is next big loving bump on your path. What else?
Um, there is a potential reality show that I might be booked for. I'll find out this
Okay.
week, actually.
Okay.
But that's the most I can really say on that one.
Of course.
And just a bunch of different things that we're kind of inventing, which is the whole thing about being an entrepreneur, right? So like I have all the connections to be on any red carpet, basically. I also have worked as a content creator for so long that I have all these connections for brands. So my manager and I were like, why are we not taking advantage of this? So we're actually bringing brands onto red carpets now. So basically, for example, I was invited to cover the NFL draft in Green Bay. So I would be on that red carpet. And I was like, instead of bringing an outlet on that carpet, why don't I bring a brand? We reached out to a few. We teamed up with Earpiece, which are earplugs that they're not noise canceling earplugs. They're basically just earplugs that make you tune in and focus. And they're like really a great invention.
Mhm.
But we teamed up with them. And so I was on the red carpet on behalf of the brand Earpiece. And so I am giving them access that they would never have without me. So now they're being put on a national stage, and I'm talking to all of the celebrities, all of the draft picks about their product. And how do you do that? You make it entertaining. So I decided to ask every single draft pick, if there is one sound that you could never hear again, what would that sound be and why? And some of these guys created some of the most hilarious, unique ideas. I mean, some of them, of course, were like, oh my God, snoring. My brother is the loudest snorer. You could hear him from a mile away. Some of them got really inventive with the sounds that they hope that they'll never hear again. Putting that all together for like a montage video and bringing it to the brand, they were like, this is genius. And it's just a really easy way for brands to go viral, have access to celebrities and athletes. And it's a really easy lift for them because all they have to do is pay me.
I love that. That's the easiest part, right? You're like, the easiest part is just paying me, you guys.
Yeah, just send it over.
Send it over.
My
Okay, wait, but this
contact
makes me
number.
want to ask you what if you could block out one noise, what would it be?
Ooh, you just turn it around
Turning
on
it around, girl.
um let's say the word no.
The word no. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's a good one.
because it's never a no. It's always a, well, how can we switch this around so that we can make it a yes?
I love that. All I could think of was chewing. Like I hate listen. I'm one of those people that's like super irritated when people chew.
Earpiece would actually be great for you.
I know. Let me talk to them. My husband is like, you're the only person on earth that thinks I'm a loud chewer. You know, it's like it just becomes a thing. Like I used to think my mom was when I lived with my mom, or my husband when I lived with my. It's because of me, not them. You know what I mean?
Our ears can be really sensitive,
Yeah.
especially to like certain things. So all of us are different, but they can be really sensitive.
Okay, this is very good intel. Well, I'm really excited for you. Is there your mom might, by the way, must be like dying of excitement that this is what you're doing. She can like cozy in bed in heels and her PJs and watch you now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very full circle, but it's it's just so like yay. There's not
It's
another word for it than yay.
no,
Because
you manifested it.
yeah, I mean, I always say that growing up, people would be like, this is literally crazy that that would be your dream. This is a one in a million job. You don't know anybody even on the west coast of the country. Like, how is this going to happen? I'm like, well, somebody has to be that one. So why can't it be me? And that has just always been my mindset since I was a child. And that's been the thing that was like my North Star, my motivating factor.
I love that. I was just gonna say, like in wrapping up, is there one mantra you say to yourself all the time? And it sounds like if it has to be someone, why can't it be me? Is the one.
Yeah, the way that I always say it, and I tell people this all the time, when you're interviewing for a job, this can be related to anything, not just Hollywood, any kind of job. If you are interviewing to get that job or that promotion or something like that, while you feel in your heart, like, I really need this, like, how can I impress them, stuff like that, they also really need you. They wouldn't be interviewing unless they needed somebody to fill this position, right? So your job when you go into that interview,
Hi,
right?
Gracie.
Your job when you go into that interview is to show them I'm the person you're looking for. And when you flip the switch on them like that, all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you are. And confidence goes a really long way. So if you're just confident in yourself and what you bring to the table, you got this, girl.
I love this. Okay. Behind the scenes, you have to message me and let me know if you get the reality show.
Yes, I am.
But thank you so much for doing this. You're just such a bright light, and I hope that so many girls and women get to hear this and reach for the stars and feel good about their reproductive choices. You're the best.
Of course. Thank you for having me. You're so sweet.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just glad that there's so many platforms where we can help women who are secretly going through it.
Yes, let's make it not secret and break those stigmas.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.